Welcome to the Squirrel Rosenberg Radio Show. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, tonight is going to be a very classic night as we kick back, relax. I got some special guests in house. I'm not even going to start to marinate on who's right next on my left or right at this moment. What I want to do right now is just give you a big shout out for tuning in tonight. Tonight's going to be epic. Tonight's going to be special. You know what we deliver on the Squirrel Rosenberg Radio. It's the true story, that connective story. And first and foremost, let me give a big shout out to my last guest who was in house, Jeffrey, who really shared some really intimate moments. Oh, my first caller is coming in right now. E-Dub, who's running late for the show. Let me hear what my boy has to say real quickly. One sec, let me hear this. This is going to be interesting. What's up, my dude? You're on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio. How can I help you? Talk to me.
Yo, what up?
What's the word, bro? Are you picking up that food right now? The guest in the house, you're live on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio. Talk to me. What's going on?
I ain't picking it up unless you got food for me over there.
We do have food for you over there, bro. Don't worry about that. You're good to go. Did you pick up the order?
Who am I supposed to ask for?
You're supposed to ask for Brittany. Go to the Jamaican spot, Tropical Delight.
Not Becky.
Not Becky. Ask for Brittany, and she's going to have everything ready because the guests are here. We're bubbling live right now on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio. E-Dub is picking up the food for a guest. Thank you for coming through, bro. I'll see you in a few minutes, all right?
Alrighty.
One love. As we keep things moving, that was our first call-in from E-Dub live. That was classic. I know you guys didn't hear anything, but when you listen back on Audacity, it's going to be muy bueno. However, let's just stay focused here. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a big shout out to Mrs. Rosenberg that's in the house tonight. Thank you for stopping by, blessing us with your presence. No doubt. She's been instrumental.
I'm incognito.
Yeah, she's definitely incognito. And I'm glad she is, because if you really saw what she's bringing to the table, you'd be like, wow, I understand why Squirrel Rosenberg is Squirrel Rosenberg.
Oh,
yeah, you do make me who I am. So I want to give you a big shout out for that. I want to give a big shout out to Manny in the background, holding things down, making everything look lovely. Thank you for coming through. My boy Flacco just popped in to make sure everything is, just show the presence and give some love. And as we get ready to marinate, I want to give a solid round of applause for my guest tonight, Jennifer, who's popping in tonight. And I paused on your last name because I don't want to massacre it, but I'm going to try. De Cunto.
Yes, exactly. Perfect.
Jennifer
De Cunto.
De Cunto. That's a very powerful name.
Yes.
Sounds like there's some Italian connection there.
Yeah, Italian. My parents, 100%.
Where in Italy are they from?
My father's from the Amalfi Coast, so the south.
So for everybody who doesn't know, I think when we think of Italy, we think of the boot.
Yeah.
So is he on the shin, the heel,
shin.
or the toe?
The shin.
He's in the
yes,
shin.
Yes, and I was going to describe it that way. I was going to say the shin of the boot. Yeah, you got it.
And then the little island off the tip of the boot is Sicily.
Yes, and that's my
that's the thing that's being
side.
kicked.
Yes, it's being kicked out to the Mediterranean Sea. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the gangsters.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. We're the best. Yeah.
Oh
Sicilians.
Wow! So you're from the Shin area.
The Shin and the island.
No way.
My mother's side is Sicilian.
So your mom's from the island.
My mother's a Sicilian. She's born here, but her parents are Sicilian.
That's amore.
And my father's from the Amalfi Coast, the Shin. So Southern Italian on both sides. But I'm born here.
Oh, nice,
Yes.
nice. Have you gone back to either areas of Italy?
Yeah, yes. I've traveled all over Italy. It's my love in life.
What was that like? When did you first go back?
Yeah, I mean, I went back as a child like many times just because my father's the only one here from his family.
Okay.
He met my mother on vacation in Italy. They had like a whirlwind romance, and then he came here and they got married. So his parents, my cousins on his side, everyone's there.
Oh, wow.
So my mother's family's here. They're like one generation here.
Okay.
So so just as a child growing up, going there, then I went to culinary school in Italy. I got married in Italy.
What?
Divorced.
Slow down. You're kind of
So
fast forwarding.
I love this country.
Yeah, you're fast forwarding to a lot of history right there because.
Do you speak?
Yes,
Italian?
not fluent because I studied it myself, but I can speak Italian.
Very cool.
Conversational.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive. So let's just slow the whole journey you try to fast forward through just now on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio. And as a matter of fact, we didn't even get a chance to big up our sponsors, but I want to raise our bottles, the green bottles. Big shout out to Heineken.
Cheers.
Whether you know it or not, guys, bong. Thank you for being our biggest sponsor. I really appreciate you for doing that. I got Poland Springs in the fridge chilling right now. They're going to be on board. And we're just really enjoying good company, good conversation, and learning and finding, about each other. And what I love about the energy that's here is what we have is like there's a commonality.
Yeah.
So when we're able to just talk and hear each other's stories. So let's just dig back into this.
Yeah.
So you were born here.
Yes.
When you say here in the United States, you're talking about Jersey. Straight
Always.
Jersey.
Jersey.
Where
girl.
in Jersey?
Born and raised. Patterson.
Bog. Big up to
Wow.
Patterson.
Yeah,
Let's give a
St.
big round of applause to
St.
Patterson.
Joe's.
Straight
Love
up.
it.
Oh,
Whole
big.
fam. Mom, grandpa, yeah.
Wow, straight
Always
Patterson.
Patterson.
So I can only imagine.
Yeah, my grandparents actually owned like a very successful business in Patterson on Market Street
Yeah.
when I was growing up. It's my family here from Patterson.
Oh, that's
So
big.
so what was the name of the business? What?
Crishone Studios, they were photographers. So like actually I often meet older people who lived here that they used to do portrait school photos, like rent tuxedos for weddings, like a whole photography, like passports. And their little signature was this little gold Crishone Studios in
Crishone
the corner. And I meet
Studios.
a lot of people who like know of their business from back in the day.
Now, where was
'Cause Patterson
Crishone's?
was a small, it's a city,
Yeah.
but a small community.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
And
fascinating.
my mother taught in Patterson for 45 years.
What school district?
She was at school number 26 for the last 20 years of it.
Wow.
Yeah, but she was at a
Sweet,
couple other schools,
sweet.
school 5, school 7. As a kid, whenever I was sick from school, my mother would leave me at my grandparents' studio.
I can only imagine the history they have.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I love hearing about Patterson. There's
Yeah.
so much history. I mean, we can,
It's true.
We do get to get a little bit distracted by the current BS.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, let me say it the way I want to say it on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio, the bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That deviate from the culture and the quality that's
Yeah,
here.
we
You
you know?
can't take away because I think Patterson still has a lot to offer. It's so diverse. Like you can drive down Main Street and you can get Dominican food, Puerto Rican
Yes.
culture. Like you really
Arabic, just
not
right.
only
It's so true.
but it's not
true.
just like the food. Like I'm a foodie, so I'm gonna always divert to the food, but it's
Yeah.
also the culture. So I'll go
Yeah,
to
yeah.
there's a place that I go to on Main Street. It's called Nuri, and it's Middle Eastern, and they have everything that you can imagine.
It's off
And
the hook.
so my recently my aunts and cousins visited, and so they have I guess what we drink our coffee out of. It's not the traditional. It's like this really small
little small one.
And I can go to Nuri and I can get like any and everything that I need to make the traditional
it's a
Ethiopian
very-
coffee.
yeah, it's
but it's
bananas,
a
yeah.
Middle
And
Eastern.
what I love about the shops here, like what you're describing, is that they're really just like home cooking. It's not like trying to be fancy and raising prices either. Like
Yeah. Yeah, true.
my sister taught in Patterson, and she said there was like a Peruvian restaurant across the street from the school. It was like super cheap, the most delicious home cooked food.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what I
true,
mean? Like
true.
whereas like
Portuguese
you could
tavern.
go to a
Yeah,
fine
yeah, yeah.
dining.
Big shout out, big
yeah,
shout out
just
to
like
Inca, the
Yes.
Inca Peruvian restaurant. I tried to
So-
order some chofa
Yes.
earlier, but right now
Yeah.
we're getting some food from Tropical Delight, which is this Jamaican restaurant that's coming.
sounds amazing.
Yeah,
So
but
to your point, so we came here as a young couple with a 3-year-old, and there's this place called Portuguese Tavern. You can get a whole chicken, rice, and either fries or salad for like $9.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Can I tell
Yeah.
you that would
But-
feed us for
And
like
it's
3
amazing.
days?
And it's amazing. It's what you crave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
know what?
It was
So
like
as,
the
as,
rotisserie
as,
chicken.
as we dance, and I see how this could be interesting. What we really should do is get our chef on board so he could be prepping
Yeah.
this food for the conversation.
Yeah.
But let me just try to get this things back with terms of the family and the origin.
Chef Jen, culinary school.
So I love the let's just segue a little bit into, because I want to hear what influences, consciously or subconsciously, now at this age where you can maybe have a bird's eye view look back at your childhood, what influences you think were significant then that made you who you are?
Oh my gosh, such a deep question. Yeah, I mean, looking back, I realized that you know, a lot of, I mean, obviously my Italian culture, like my grandparents, things like that, like in terms of people that influenced me. But, you know, growing up, I hated like the lock and key that I was under. But now I guess I can appreciate it in my work ethic, things like that are helping me like transition in life right now. I'm at crossroads. So things that I rebelled against, I'm like the black sheep of my family. Those things, you know, were great influences, like how my parents really were very, you know, strict with us and had high standards. So they helped me like pull myself out of like struggles and stuff in my life now.
Because of the discipline.
Yeah, and also thinking about their own journey, like my father leaving his country, like to come to a new country, like and really build a family. You know, things that I saw, I guess qualities I see now in them as strength. You know, when you're a kid, you don't
really appreciate it.
that.
Yeah, maybe you did. Maybe you thought I was like, why are you being so
overbearing? So you know,
What was the family makeup like? What was the family makeup like?
4 girls.
Wow.
Yeah, my father.
It's a special man.
Yeah,
It takes a special man
he was
to
like
make
all white hair at like 25. Like
so
really,
my dad.
No, exactly.
Because my dad grew up with no dad. Like my grandfather passed away while my grandmother was pregnant with him. So all his life has been like at 13 he left home, like going to find a better life, and then came to America like alone, like, you know, not with like the immigration wave. Like he came in 1970 because he met my mom, but it's like been just like this tough. And I guess I appreciate it now. I did not growing up. I used to get mad at the way he was. But now I absolutely appreciate.
Can you get like
strength.
specific and say something that was like a big pet peeve of yours about him or something?
Yeah, just like we always, even my mom.
Did he speak in Italian language?
Yes. Oh,
well,
my
yeah.
God.
I mean,
My
straight
father,
off the boat.
I
Yeah.
can still repeat this, like to my sister as a joke, like the spiel he would say.
Yeah, go.
In Italian,
Yeah,
he'd be
go,
like.
yeah.
Mannaggia chi de morta, porca miseria, puttana, la troia. Like this whole thing, which at the
Porca
time.
miseria, puttana. Wait.
Which
Hello,
is like
my
bad
dad is
shit.
Greek. Yeah.
Like he was saying the worst thing a father could possibly say to his daughters.
I'm laughing.
Like the most insulting, like calling us fucking.
So what
No, say it. No, this is
is
Rosenberg
like,
Radio.
Like,
wait.
That
Like,
was it was like mindless. It was
No,
like when
okay,
he was
so-
mad, this is what he said.
Yeah. Okay,
And
so
we didn't get affected. That
Schivosa,
affected
like,
like English was our first language, but as we got older and studied the language, we would laugh still. My sisters would be like, "What the hell? My father would say this about their daughters over like a sock being on the floor."
Yeah. Okay, so all right. I'm so glad she brought that up, Jen.
Yeah, it's like
I
nothing.
love you right now because my father is Greek, right? But being Greek, he migrated to Ethiopia.
Yeah, and they're very similar.
Yeah.
Cultures, Sicilian especially, because
So,
right there.
Yeah. So he migrated to Ethiopia with his family.
because Greece is
At
a
the
goalie.
age- At
The Mediterranean. Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's funny. So when he came to Ethiopia, there was a huge Italian influence because of Mussolini and
location and all that.
So he's very Sicilian because he speaks Sicilian. Our neighbor is Sicilian, so when he came to visit, they connected on a whole different level because he speaks Sicilian.
Okay.
My mother, on the other hand, was educated and she learned Italian in school, so she knew like the very
proper
northern
Italian.
proper
Yes.
Italian. Yeah. So my father is very Sicilian in that's what he speaks. So all of the things that you were seeing, I heard.
You've heard.
Like you said, a sock being on the floor. You're like, what the hell?
Yes.
At the time, it's like, and my
amazing.
kids are
it's-
so offended
It's
because I'm
classic.
so like my father, and they're like, it's just a sock on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
It
but
was the
what's so
best.
funny? I love the character or the passion that came out because that's what I wanted
That's
to catch.
exactly.
Because,
And with the way he would like stick his bottom, like mouth, like his lip, like he
And
had his
hands.
look, and we knew he was so mad. And oh my God! But
so
we
4 girls, huh?
4 girls.
Yo, can we salute your dad with this toast?
Gennaro.
Yeah, Gennaro. Yeah,
To Gennaro.
yeah, Gennaro.
Holy crap.
No, I want to give a big shout out to men who produce women. Because it's a real reprogramming of the whole entire mindset, especially when you're in a home. Because if he had 4 girls, he was in a home with 5 women.
Yes.
So
I mean, I don't know if I could do it. I'm a woman.
She's like, fuck.
Okay. Like, I mean, I'd rather, like, I always say, like, I hate to say that as a woman, like, working with men is easier.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
yeah.
obviously love women, like, went to the women's rallies and whatever, but, like, for my father, I feel for him.
Yeah.
Yo, so classic.
Because 3 of us were in high school at the same time.
Holy shit.
So we were teenagers, like, yes, it was bad. 3 in college at the same time.
So what was the dynamics? And you know what's so funny? As E-Dub gets here, he always warns me of asking these deep questions, as I know the time is rambling on. So let me just tell you this. We're going to take a quick break as we segue into something deep on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio. I want to give a big shout out to Jenny. Thank you so much for being on point with this. We're going to dive in more. Ellie,
love you.
Great with the energy. We're going to be right back. Stay tuned. Squirrel Rosenberg Radio, Squirrel Rosenberg TV. 1. Welcome to the Squirrel Rosenberg Radio. We're kicking back here with Jennifer DeCunto. And I told her before the end of the show, I'm going to master that last name because everybody knows here on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio, one of the challenges I give myself is when I cannot pronunciate a word or when I cannot remember our guest last name, for whatever reason it is, DeCunto, I'm not going to make it my mission before the end of the show.
You guys got
DeCunto is going to...
Perfect.
Let me get bong. Thank you so much. So thank you guys for tuning in. We have a wonderful guest in house, Jennifer DeCunto. We got Ellie Rosenberg kicking back. We're getting ready to go deep as we were just kicking back on the whole family tip. And the reason why you may ask, well, why is he so poking about the family? Because that beginning kind of propels us to where we have to go, you know. But before I even do that, I want to give a big shout out to Heineken, our sponsor, that's kicking back here, providing all the green bottles. I want to give a big shout out to E-Dub that's in the house handling the sound for me. Faco just still in the house. Manny on the one back in the camera just making sure everything is jiggy. Let me wet my palate. Actually, we're sipping on some Don Julio, which we're going to be approaching for sponsorship. So stay tuned, Don Julio, because that's really what we drink here. If you look around at the set, there's a lot of Don Julio bottles. But let's go back to what's important here. So we were talking about the Italian connection. When was the first time? Because you were born here in the U.S. And I'm going to be very short on the family because I want to segue into something more interesting because there's something very interesting about our guest that we're going to touch on, and that's coming up in the very near future that's going to really motivate our listeners. But real briefly on the Italian connection. So when was the first time you visited Italy? Do you remember?
I probably was like 2 or 3.
Oh, very young. Okay, but of course you went back many times after that.
Yeah, the trip I remember most.
Yeah, that's
when
what I
was
wanna-
like 15.
Okay, talk to me about-
We had gone back for like after a few years. I guess it's expensive, so we didn't go. It was 6 people in our family for a few years, and then at 15 I went back, and we spent a month as a family.
Ooh,
yeah,
a
so it
month.
was hard because I was a
Yeah, yeah.
teenager. My parents
Talk to
was
me.
annoying
Yeah,
me.
talk to me.
But
Talk to me.
still, it was the first time I really got to build any relationships with my family there. My father's side, like my first cousins, his brother's children. Like I grew up on my mom's side with 9 cousins, and we're very close still. So I didn't have that on my dad's side. So at 15 years old, I met my 2 cousins. My 2 male cousins that lived in northern Italy, Daniele and Davide, and then
Ooh, slow down. What are those names?
Daniele and Davide, like David and Daniel. That's their
Davide
names.
is
yeah.
the Italian pronunciation
Yes.
of Davide.
But
that's
yeah,
a
I never
hot-
had a
that's hot.
relationship with them.
Damn
So
it.
Sorry.
oh, I love it. Daniele. But yeah, so that trip I got to really meet my cousins, and that's when we started to
Wait,
like,
how do you say Paul?
Paolo.
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 I like that.
And Eleonora. That's her
Okay.
name.
That's how my parents say
Yeah?
my name.
Yes.
Eleonora. So you know you're in trouble when your parents like say
the
it that
full
way.
name.
Yeah.
Eleonora. And I'll
I
go
can
by
hear
Ellie
it.
because people don't know how to say it like my father says it, and that's how he says
Yes.
it. Eleonora. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
love it. And
So,
Paolo.
yeah.
So yeah, that trip was important for that reason, and got to really meet my.
And so were you
grandmother.
fluent in Italian so you could communicate with them then, or no?
No, I mean, unfortunately, my parents didn't speak Italian when we were babies and children, so I learned it from studying it on my own. So of like the 4 sisters, 2 of us were really like interested in our Italian heritage, so we both learned it on our own.
Okay.
And then the other 2 didn't ever really learn it fluently, but they can understand it, I'm sure, just from like being around it always.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So let me ask you this as we get ready to segue into our next topic. Who from your family background say you could conclude that made the biggest impact on you? And typically people would think your parents, but I sometimes understand that your uncle, a family friend, could
Yeah.
sometimes make an impact on you. So
Yeah, I
just
think
want-
for me, my cousin Joey, he's only a year older than me, but he really lives an authentic life, and he's gay, and he,
Okay.
that was a challenge in the family, I guess, and. And then he moved to Israel, like in adulthood. He like converted to Judaism. It's like sounds so crazy, but he's like the fact that
wow.
he did it in the face of people close to him not accepting it.
So you're telling me
is
right now,
authentic to me,
yes,
and that is
yeah.
a big inspiration
Ooh.
for me, because my path hasn't been like what I was raised to believe it would be, like a woman, single, no kids, at 38, like that. So my cousin doing his thing, and even as like straight, like it's like out there, he's being authentic, and for him that's a huge influence for me.
So your takeaway from that is the authenticity.
Yes, and the strength and courage to be your authentic self.
Your authentic. Wow.
Even if you were raised in a environment that wasn't accepting of.
No, I was
who
about to
you
ask
are.
you that. I
Yeah.
was gonna really kind of just segue into that and ask you, from the Italian perspective, was that an accepted,
Yeah, no, not. I mean, like being grown up like Italian Catholic, so he.
I know.
Yeah, came out of the closet, and he converted to Judaism and became an Israeli citizen and lives there. That was a challenging many
Being Italian,
norms
it's
in
Roman Catholic, which is
yes,
very strict, very.
So yeah, even in the face of people not understanding, it was important to him, and he did it anyway because it made him happy, and that to me is admirable.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you found strength in his story.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's very admirable. So now as we segue into where you are right now, I know you're very passionate about certain things in your life, and before we jump back into the typical, let me not say typical, because nothing on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio is typical, but as I want to really just segue in and give a little bit of light to a cause that's passionate to your heart. You're about to go on an expedition of some sorts. Let's talk about that for a little bit. Where
Yeah.
are you going?
I just joined the Peace Corps.
Let's round of applause for that. Yeah, let's round of applause for that. Yeah, no, that's big, because that's
Yeah.
serving. That's huge, and that's a big
part
thing we
of
promote
my,
here.
Yeah, it's part of why I decided to do it. And I'll serve for the next 27 months as of July in South Africa.
Wow.
Yeah, teaching English. So,
Why South Africa?
I mean, well, when you apply, you can list where you want to go,
Right.
and it really depends on like the countries you're interested in living in, but also where there's a position available that you're qualified for.
your
You know
skill
what I mean?
set,
You can't just say if I wanted to say Jamaica, and if there was no teaching job, I wouldn't
True.
be qualified to go. So. Yeah, anyway, so I looked at the teaching positions that were open because that's what my background in my career is, in education.
Teaching.
Yeah, and then through seeing the positions listed, South Africa was my first choice, You know, just I didn't know much about the country before. I actually happened to listen to Trevor Noah's biography. Memoir, right before I applied.
Yeah, big shout out to Trevor Noah.
Yes, which he's going to be in Montclair State University this Friday. This Friday, and just to talk about Born a Crime. So I want to go.
His story is fascinating.
Yeah. I actually listened to it, which is even better than reading it because he narrates it. Ooh. So his inflection and humor is in the story because he reads
Audible.
his own story.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah.
So anyway. So I had actually read that story. Then I applied. So while I was looking, I was intrigued by South Africa for so many reasons. But, you know, it just, I don't know. I felt called for that. I listed that as my first choice. You can list 3. So then I listed Tonga, which is an island near Fiji, which had English positions. And then Lesotho, which is in country actually within South Africa, like its own country, in like the mountainous region of South Africa.
Oh wow!
So, but I got South Africa, so that's what that's what my top choice was. So now I've been doing like so much research on the country.
There's a lot of
very interesting country.
You know, that country was a catalyst for a lot of things, and you know, especially when you read the Trevor Noah story.
Yes.
You know, it's his perspective.
There's so many, you know, other stories as well. Like, you know, when you think of Mandela and you think of, you can continue on to like,
right
you know,
now I'm
stories.
listening to the Nelson Mandela autobiography, which is even more interesting, but you just see.
Great perspective for you to go into that city. No, I want to salute you on the ability, let me rephrase that, on the needing to serve. Because that seems what this is about,
right?
And before I even, you know, as I said, I don't want to go deep as we get ready to remind everybody on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio and Squirrel Rosenberg TV. Everything you're seeing right here, we're streaming live on our YouTube channel, Facebook. We're going to give you the connects on Instagram as we're going to be taking some interesting photos afterwards. But I really don't want to get too deep on this question, but I have to. So here you are. What initiated that serving? Because everybody else like
Peace Corps,
no, seriously, because everybody else like now could be like, let me do me.
Right.
Well, so there's several different kinds of people, right? So you have people who, you know, have an innate need to serve. Like you're one of them with Rotary and ISMS and a few other things. But why Peace Corps? Because we have a friend of ours who did Peace Corps.
Was it somebody in your family that did something to serve that make you go, I want to travel that path?
No, I mean, I really, like, in the past year, I would say, because, you know, basically, like, when I lost my job, I had to figure out what I was going to do next, and I really never loved working in public schools. I thought it meant I didn't like teaching. I don't think that now. But once I lost my job and I started, you know, I realized, okay, what's my next step? I really just had to start doing some soul searching. And it was during all my life, if I heard of somebody that did the Peace Corps, it resonated with me. Like it appealed to me. I thought, I didn't think I would ever do it, but it really was like, wow, that's awesome. I've done volunteer work over the years, but it wasn't until this past year that I had to figure out my next step. And I realized, like, when I prioritized what it was that was important to me, it was seeing the world and humanitarian work. So I had started to do research on humanitarian work, and that actually was really hard to get into. And it was through that research that I saw like people saying to start with the Peace Corps. And the more I just thought, let me just apply. Because I was actually pretty like down at that time in my life. Like I thought, let me just apply. Like I didn't think I'd get it, or just even if I did, I didn't think I'd go. And but once the ball started rolling, I started to get excited about it. The more research I did about that country, South Africa, I really am intrigued by it and what the service can do. You know,
not a lot of people go outside of their comfort zone, or would seek to go outside of their comfort zone when the pressure is on.
Yeah.
You know, I salute that. There's a lot of strength to that, man. Yo, let's just give a toast to that. You know, no, seriously, as I hear you speak, as we wet our palate here on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio with the freshest beverage out there.
I was going to ask a question. So, coming from a family that's very strict, so it, you know, when I listening to you talk about your family and how strict they are, and that can kind of be confining, and a lot of people can take it in two different ways, right? So they can either rebel and really go one direction, which is not healthy, or they can sort of be conservative and super sort of sheltered. But in your perspective, it seems like you just kind of understand why they were so strict, and yet you're embracing, sort of allowing yourself to explore, which is kind of what I've sort of initiated with my kids. Like I've always asked my kids, they travel at starting at
the
15.
exposure.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to get to the very good question. That's why I
it's
really
so important. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I always, like, I definitely rebelled, you know what I mean? Like, but my rebellion was like, I knew if it disappointed my parents, I kept it like secret. But it was through that rebellion, like, and then my, like I say, the depression, the divorce, whatever, that made me really look back and not be upset. I mean, my parents, they do what they knew how to do, and they, all of my sisters and I are teachers. Like, we really didn't have a choice in what we were going to do.
Was the mom or was somebody in your family
My
a teacher?
mother.
Her mother,
Yeah.
In Patterson.
Yeah, because when you, I mean, when you think about it, like,
that's the catalyst.
yes. So I wanted to be a chef, and that's why later I did go to culinary school. Like, that's where that ties in.
Yeah.
Because I really struggled with, like, who I was in my early 30s, and, like, even up to my divorce at 34. It's like, once I had that freedom, like, well, who am I? Like, that's why the past, I don't know, I will be 39, so 8 years or whatever, like, it's really just been, like, developing who I am and not what my parents told me, like, should be.
Yeah,
They really influenced our decisions.
I wanted to, you left me loaded here with this alley-oop question I want to ask, which is
alley-oop.
Yeah. So let me be nosy, and ask this question. So, the marriage that you're talking about, your divorce, was that something that you fell in love with the guy and everything, or was it something that was set up by the parents? Was the mom really involved, or was the whole family? Because I know back in that culture, it's very
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't arranged anyway like that. I mean,
I know.
Yeah, but my family loved my ex. Yeah.
Smart man.
So I mean, he was a great
Smart man.
Great
No,
guy.
smart man.
Yeah.
Because when I went for her, it's like, I'm gonna make sure the family loves me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if anything
And
goes
he was
wrong,
a great guy. So they loved him. Italian American. Just good person. Good job, great family, like all those things. So it influences you, and I loved him,
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, fulfilling in every way. So it was, it was hard to say, that's over, because, when your family loves the person you're with, like that definitely influences you.
Which what I'm hearing is a lot of strength and kudos to you to have to, change that dynamics.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess nowadays you realize, like, my parents are together for 45 years, but it's not like, smooth sailing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you realize,
yeah.
like, if it's not working, you have to do what's right for yourself.
Yeah, true. True.
Yeah.
I salute you on sharing on that. And I wanted to just find out, because I see that you're such a resilient soul, because nobody goes outside of their comfort zone to go to South Africa when they don't have to, There's nothing,
I appreciate you saying that, because, for the past few years, I haven't really felt that way. So now it's like the first time in a long time that I've been excited about something.
Which is interesting, right? It's a fire that's ignited. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what's really happening right now on the show right now, because we were going through some bullshit. I mean, let me tell you right now, everybody know, all my viewers know, we just keep reiterating that. And at the end of the day, when we experience some hiccups, we're like, let's just power through, just to get that story across and hear, your story and how you're But I think the takeaway from all of this, and whether we have said it or not, there's a jewel being dropped by our guest, where she says, actually, she didn't even say it, she's doing it. You're going outside of your comfort zone. How long are you going to be in South Africa?
It's 27 months, a little over 2 years.
Can I ask you something vulnerable?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I'm excited. I am.
What about all the other logistics and,
I think that for me, like, the depression that I suffered after my divorce was so severe, like, it caught me by surprise. Like, never
you
thought.
filed for divorce, or he did?
We did at the same time. I mean, I guess it was more me that was unfulfilled. And that's why I say, like, you know, in the end, I felt like he was such a good guy. Like, he deserved to have a wife who was 100% fulfilled by him. So, but it was really probably me that was the one that was not fulfilled. We filed together. So, but after that, it's like been such a struggle. Like, the fact that this is the first thing in years that's like excited me and made me feel like a purpose. And, you know, there's really nothing. I'm not dating anyone and I'm not attached to any job. So for me, it's like there's nothing here other than my family. I'll miss them, but I'll see them in 2 years. It's like nothing. You know, other than that, like there isn't anything here that's like more exciting to me than going and doing this. You know what I mean? Because
it's interesting that she says serving a purpose, because a lot of people look for what their purpose is. And I was reading. I've recently started reading this book called The Soul of a Citizen. But then there's other articles that I've been reading about like what your purpose is, what your drive is, and literally it's just what your goals are,
what resonates
based
with
on
you.
your morals and values and what what fulfills you. So for you to find that and for you to be able to kind of feel uplifted and excited about something. That's really like, you know, people talk about destiny and purpose. That's it. You know, you set these goals and you know what is coming, you know, for the next 27 months, and like that's something to wake up to.
Because for a while I didn't feel myself in terms of depression. I I didn't recognize myself. So for the first time, like for something, I feel like my old self again in the whole application process and preparing for, I feel like if I have to listen to that. You know what I mean? Like when I got divorced, the problem was I didn't know who I was, and that caused depression. And I guess I realized that inner voice for me, inner voice is an energy, it's a vibration, and
was there
excitement.
Was there a moment that created that shift? That said, you know what? You know, I want to take control. Yeah,
I mean, it was just being down for like days and days at a time and realizing like if like I'm in control, really. I mean, I started to like meditate, you know, and do like and follow, you know, just that like feeling like you're in control. You know, it's not as easy as that if you're down, but I just felt like in the past 6 months, like I can change the way that I feel and be in control of my destiny. I don't have to do...
Whoa. She just dropped her jewel. She just dropped a jewel on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio. Yo, she just dropped a jewel on Squirrel Rosenberg. We're going to have you say that again. You realize that you can take control
of your own destiny.
Of your own destiny.
Yeah.
I have a question. So part of the Squirrel Rosenberg Radio is that they talk about religion, you know, family. What's the 4 no's? Politics. So we talked about family. We talked about, you know, you are born Catholic, right? Or your family's Catholic.
Right.
So taking your Catholicism, or, you know, you're Roman Catholic, obviously, because you're from Italy.
Yeah, that's how I was raised.
So taking that and then going into meditation, because I was raised Greek Orthodox, which is like, and then moving. So born, you know, in Ethiopia, grew up Greek Orthodox, living in Germany and going to Greek Orthodox churches, and then coming to Texas where there was no Greek Orthodox churches, where you're raised Roman Catholic, which is just as bad, right? It's just very strict and very regimented and very
guilt-ridden.
That's
how I remember it. That's my life.
Say that again.
Guilt-ridden. That was it. Guilt was what kept you in line.
And you talk about, so there's two don'ts, right? So the first thing that I wanted to kind of delve into is the divorce, and the second thing that I want to delve into is meditation. Meditation is really, so prayer in most cultures is considered meditation. Like prayer is
settling of the mind.
Quieting your mind, and so there's I've read and what I resonate with is that when you meditate, you're listening to God. You know, when you're praying, you're talking to God. So meditation in when I do it and I find it very difficult because I can't quiet my mind because there's always like noise going on.
Yeah, that thought-free state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we need to get to.
But when I do find
Big shout out to Maddie.
yeah, when I do find that, because I do remember when I go to the basement and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I just need my space. And you quiet your mind and then you go on about your day and it just seems like just such a different experience. So you were talking about meditation.
Yeah.
How did you, so there's two things that we're going to talk about. So the divorce and your religion, and then the meditation and
But the fact that you found the strength in meditation without being, that was profound.
I was raised Catholic, but never like, even as a kid, like it's not that I was anti it, but it just didn't ever resonate with me. Like I would go to CCD.
So Italian mom, I was going to say CCD. You had to do that.
Yeah, I went to CCD. Like I didn't even pay attention.
Church every Sunday.
I can't tell you one story from the Bible unless like Noah's Ark or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, even though I sat through hours. So I didn't feel anything spiritual because my parents, even though they were like Catholic, we only went on like the holidays really, like, or
midnight mass.
Yeah, so I even thought like in adulthood that I was atheist because I just was like, I didn't even, if I didn't like believe it. Yeah. Now I've evolved. I think there's like a spiritual realm, like an energy that connects.
Did you
us
have
all
like
of
the
us.
shrine, which is Saint Joseph, Saint Mary, Saint Anthony,
in my parents' house? Yeah,
okay.
Probably.
those are the 3-4 saints, right? Saint Joseph, Saint Mary, Saint Anthony.
Not my house, but yeah.
I like where you're going with this because and I like the way Ellie asked that question because it brought out the ritualistic things about religion.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, and to all the listeners who watch the show,
and cultural.
True.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think if you boil it down to a relationship, and I've said this multiple times on the show, you're here because of relationship. A relationship with Ellie, who was like, I'm comfortably enough, let me go see what they're about.
So how do you discover that when so born into like a very strict religious family?
Okay, you know what? And you know what? And I'm glad you asked that loaded question. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but here's what it segued to.
Yeah.
And I've been waiting since you walked into the studio to throw this at you. Why do you have an open heart? Because that's what's getting you to South Africa. That's why you're in the studio right now as a guest on the Squirrel Rosenberg show.
Yeah.
You have an open heart.
Yeah.
And my boy Maddie from our last show, he said people need to cultivate an open heart.
Yeah.
You need to have a yes.
I noticed that. You were like, fine.
It's funny you say because I don't look.
I'm
that
driving
way.
up to this
Can we toast to
building.
It says a lot about both of you because I didn't think I had a yes open heart.
Don't leave
but
me hanging. Can we toast to a yes?
Of course.
No, so
I mean, the fact
Follow
that you asked me
me
and I
to
said
the
yes that easily, I didn't. It means you guys are cool as hell. Like I like you and you want to do this with you.
Yo, you could have said no.
I could have.
And you said yes to South Africa. So let's just go back to this because on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio, we are part of the stuff. What I mean is you can get information and entertainment anywhere out there, but we want to be a part of the good stuff.
Right.
And we want to hear what is it that you just said, you know what, I'm going to say yes to this.
I think in my soul searching the past few years to figure out what I want in life, I realized like things that resonate with me that feel like good in that moment, like that's what I have to follow. So when you guys asked me, Peace Corps, same thing, like I feel it, like it's like a feeling, and the Peace Corps for me was like in the past year, anything that I was interested in really did have to do with serving. It wasn't just like I was looking for another job for my salary.
Which I admire that.
Yeah, and
that's very admirable.
I just felt, I don't know. I felt also like just the society we live in where it's like really a rat race and always, going. And that I'm very much like looking forward to like the minimalist life of a Peace Corps volunteer.
Wow.
Yeah, that's actually
That's big.
not scaring me at all. Like no running water or electricity. Like that doesn't scare me.
Get it again.
It's just.
Have you ever lived in really third world or sub third world environments before ever?
So when you go to visit Italy,
Yeah, it's Sicily. I mean, Sicily, that's like, and northern Italy is the longest I've lived somewhere else, but it's similar to here.
Okay.
Not
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
the same.
But you have all the amenities.
But it's similar, like
Yeah.
running water, yeah.
Yeah, heat, everything is
Yeah.
bueno, everything's good.
You know, I've done so much research on it and like even been communicating with volunteers that are there now, like
Okay.
through whatever,
Yeah.
you know, way. And I just feel like, you know, it is something I can do. Like I'm really not nervous about it at all. I know it'll be definitely culture shock and different, but like I said, like there's like nothing here that's making me feel like maybe I shouldn't do it.
Yeah,
You know?
but you know, so you know what?
I don't have-
let me just reel this in
Yeah.
and take advantage of this moment and put you on the spot and say this. Manny, as you're setting things up behind the scenes with the camera, let me know which camera is our close up so I can get this right straight up right now and put her on the spot, because here's what I want to do. I am so impressed with the way you've stepped outside of your comfort zone, and that's what we salute here. And I've also very been impressed with the way you have embraced and said yes, not only to being here on the show, but to accepting the mission you're about to be on. So can I get you on this camera right now, on the close-up, right, telling me that you're gonna come back and share the experiences that you've had? Can I have
right
that?
here?
Yeah. Can I have that from you? Jennifer.
Yes.
Squirrel Rosenberg
I
Radio,
promise.
Squirrel Rosenberg TV. We're gonna have that. No, but
come back.
Yeah, yeah.
I promise, Squirrel and Ellie,
You're gonna come
I
back.
will come back and give my experience.
Oh yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I need that, because
I
you know what's so
promise.
funny is when we get this out and people are gonna watch this and goes, yo, what, she was in the studio talking about going. Maybe she chickened out. Maybe she didn't.
There's always like that. Yeah, they have that. You know, where are they now? Type of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, what happened?
wanna
after
hear
the
that.
I
fact?
feel like there's no way I can come back the same person. Like it's intriguing to me in
No,
that
you're
way
not.
too.
Yeah.
Not just like the children I'll be working with in the community, like even myself, the growth, you know?
Yeah.
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 No, the
It's
ability to
exciting.
just serve is just, it's so admirable.
I'm loving the
doing.
energy you're giving off.
Yeah,
Like you're,
yeah,
you can
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
say
true,
that you're looking
true.
forward
I would
to
say
that.
like I'm even most excited about what even though we have our job, like for me it'll be teaching English. We're required to do a secondary project, which could be dictated by the community. Like if they have a specific need that they tell me when I get there, I'll work with them on that.
Okay.
But in preparation for it, I've been thinking like, what could I do? And I actually came across this yoga organization, this nonprofit. It's called Roots Tribe Yoga.
Yeah.
And it is founded by a returned Peace Corps volunteer. But basically, I'm getting trained right now to be an ambassador for their program, and there's like a specific curriculum for self-love and self-empowerment for children through
big,
yoga.
big. You have to
And
share
I
that with
feel
me,
like,
please.
yeah, I will. And they've been doing work abroad, like in Africa mostly. They're now getting into Armenia and Moldova, but they want to do work here in the States too. And it's just like when I found them, I was like, the curriculum just to teach those lessons through yoga, I feel like it'll help me and it'll help the children
big.
that I'm
That's
working
big.
with.
That's big.
So that I'm excited about that too.
You know what I want to do is, before you even ask another question, I want to take this moment to really just big up everybody who's tuning in on Facebook, watching us on, listening to us on SoundCloud, just checking everything out, because we're going to be posting a lot of photos on Instagram. One of the things that are very interesting right now, I just ask you about, do you have a website or a GoFundMe page or anything that
I don't.
you don't?
So we need to set that up.
Yeah.
So GoFundMe or you
we're gonna set
caring or
something up.
we're gonna set something
We're
up
gonna
and
set
we'll
something up
post
because
it.
you're
yeah.
gonna be gone for how many years? 2 years.
2 years.
You know, we want to support you.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, we
Oh
want
my
to.
God.
Yeah, and
That'd
what
be
we're gonna do is we want to
amazing.
Skype you in on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio. We follow up with you.
That would be amazing.
Let's
Oh
just-
my God, I
let's
never
just-
thought of that.
That's a
let's-
good idea.
let's just
Even
get
for
that in.
like donations for the kids, like
No,
Yeah.
you
listen.
know, even building a
We're gonna-
library in the
we
school.
want- yeah, we want to get
donating
behind you
books.
100% on
That's
this.
where my mind is.
Yeah,
It's so
we want
awesome.
to get you in.
Yeah.
So as
Awesome.
we get ready to segue in a couple of things, I want to give everybody
or
a
a
big shout
Facebook
out.
fund because that's so unfortunately. So I'm a proponent of crowdfunding because I did that for Lola. I
Yeah,
did a
yeah,
U
yeah.
caring. My girlfriend passed away January 27th of 2016 from breast cancer, and we did a U caring page because that was the most money that would go towards the individual versus back to U caring. GoFundMe is one of the most expensive crowdfunding sites, but I think Facebook also has a similar sort of product where you can use Facebook
Definitely, yeah.
as
We're going to research.
crowdfunding site. So if you have a Facebook page, we would
Okay.
contribute to that and add that
No,
to the...
actually, if you don't have it, we're going to set it up before you go
Okay.
to make sure. And when are you leaving?
July 9th.
July 9th.
So 3 months.
Okay, bong. All right, so
I think
before
we should have a like they do for going away for college. They do the trunk party.
Oh, cool.
We should have a similar party for her here.
Oh my
live
God.
on
you
Squirrel
guys-
Rosenberg
Party
Radio.
for
On
Jen.
Squirrel Rosenberg Radio.
Oh my
and she gets ready to
God.
travel to South Africa and blast off
And
and serving.
create your
Awesome.
And
Facebook
she'll be
fundraising.
and actually she's gonna be your first international correspondent.
Oh my God, I
let's
would
really
love
get this
it.
in. So we got this moving.
So
Guys,
we segued really quickly, and I want to go back to it. And it's that stick a pen, where we were talking about religion. We went into meditation, and then we were talking about divorce, and sort of part of the Squirrel Rosenberg show is that we talk about politics, we talk about religion, which we did. We talk about sex, and we talk about what was the
well, we haven't touched on the sex yet, but before
Family. We've talked about
No,
family.
before we do that, see, here's
So-
what I want to do. I want to get a break in right now. Let everybody know we're gonna take a quick break, refresh our glasses, stretch our legs. Stay tuned. Squirrel Rosenberg Radio, Squirrel Rosenberg TV 1. Welcome back to the Squirrel Rosenberg Radio Show. We are having a wonderful time with our guest, Jennifer de Cunto.
Yes.
Yo,
Yes.
boom!
Perfetto.
I got it right.
100%.
Let's give a big shout out to our
Cheers.
toast, to our bigger sponsor, Heineken.
Cheers.
Making everything good
Salute.
jiggy. Labels forward.
Perfecto.
What we're gonna do is before we leave, it's mandatory that everybody drinks 2 bottles of Poland Springs. So as we come to the end of the show, we're gonna be toasting up with that in a few more minutes. But Jennifer, it's been an honor being in
Yeah,
your presence.
it's been fun.
You know what's so funny is on this show and everything that we've enjoyed is all about energy, and the unspoken energy. And you took the pilgrimage, the march up the 5 floors to get to the studio.
Yeah, I was about to crawl the last leg. Let's
Let's marinate. Let's marinate on that walk up those 5
Yeah,
floors.
it was worth it. Worth it.
What was it like walking in through those doors?
Well, I mean, I didn't expect the space was pretty amazing. Yeah, it's a good vibe in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I was definitely out of breath though.
I think
For
everybody
sure.
is.
We do put our guests through a couple of tests to get them here, and that
Physical endurance
and
Up the stairs, I was dying.
Yeah, what's so funny? But I want to just compliment you for coming through, because not only did you take the march to get up here, but what we've heard and what we've shared is what we've complimented on this show is hearing people coming out of their comfort zone, and you've just embraced that. So as we segue into something more interesting, as Ellie was just bringing up, there's a couple of topics we'd like to touch on, and we love to touch on the sex topic on this show.
Oh.
Let's talk
And
about
just to be
sex,
rounded as
baby.
we're sitting at a
Yes,
round
all
table,
right.
right.
me, yeah, right. We're gonna throw that in post production, but
After hours.
yeah. I had a wonderful conversation with Ellie and my assistant Liz and Dr. Jen, who were here, and what we found out with the whole sexual perception, where men are more needing of sex that and
No, I think what-
let me finish. Let me set it up. Let me throw the ball
Just
up.
thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, let me throw the ball
Volley,
up.
volley.
Yeah, let me set it up.
Let me slam dunk it.
And let's be hospitable to our host, and I'll let
Okay.
her go first. But the perception in society, even prior to now, it's where, and you're Italian, so I'm pretty sure the machismo, men rule, so it's all about the men, satisfaction of the men, and people are the value of the woman when it comes to her sexual needs are not upheld as much. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean I think that's been my experience. Yeah, I mean that the focus is a lot on the man, but I mean I'm a giver, so for me, like I love that, but I don't find that it's.
But go ahead.
Reciprocate. I don't feel like it across the board. I'm not saying that it doesn't. There are men that love that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't find that it's like equal, but not in a bad way. It's like that's just what it is.
Do you think there were some cultural issues there that kind of culturally created those barriers?
I don't know, because for me it's like, I mean, it says a lot about who you are as a person. Like, forget culture. It's like if you are a giver and you want to please, like it's about who you are. You know what I mean? So that's what it says to me. It's like, you know what I mean? Like if I come across a guy that's not a giver, like to me it's like, all right, that's just who you are as a person, right? I mean, I don't know. Do you feel like that?
Our relationship is a little different,
Well,
right?
right,
So
you're
I
not.
think, yeah, no,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think we both like to serve, and I think we both sort of are givers. No?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
can
yeah.
correct
Yeah,
me
that's
if
what I
I'm
mean.
wrong.
Like if
But I
someone who
think-
doesn't do that,
Yeah,
it's like,
I-
all right, not that they're wrong, but it's like, all right,
Yeah.
it's
There is a sort of a diminishment in your experience when there's not that reciprocation of sort of you're giving because you have this passion and you want to sort of please, but also in the same sort of aspect, like you also want to feel like the appreciation of that giving, and part of that is
that's what it is.
not that
It's
you expect
connection.
Yeah.
It's like
There you
connecting
go.
on a very deep level. It's
Yeah.
like being one. Like for me, that's what it is. It's like when I am into somebody, I want
smack you
all
in the
of
ass
them.
with it. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
like you want all of them. You want to like drink them up. You
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
be
yeah,
all
yeah.
about them.
Yeah.
And so for them to not want the same, to me, that just says something about the level of connection. It's not that
Yeah.
it's wrong.
Yeah, true.
It just indicates something to you. Like
Yeah.
it
One
shows
thing
you.
I've always
the
said on
response to sort of your so if I kind of grab your hand, there's a response to that, right? So if I go like this and grab your hand, you're not grabbing my hand back.
But
then
there's
But there's an
response.
energy being transmitted
yeah,
to
yeah,
his hand
yeah.
from you.
Yeah. So in
Yeah.
the very sort of basic level, I'm grabbing your hand and I expect like that clench
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
sort
yeah.
of
And it
response
leads,
back.
Yeah,
it's a
reassurance.
story.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
leading
yeah,
to
the
something
connection,
more.
yeah.
And then now
You're
you
connecting.
expound on that in terms of just sexual energy, right? So I give in a certain way, and then there's not sort of like a response. Not that you need to give in the same way, but the response sort of kind of
It sends
affirms
messages.
Yeah,
that
affirms
you-
like the connection, affirms sort of like there's
which
you
is
know,
which is really
continue
fascinating.
and,
Yeah,
right.
On a woman's level, because we tend to not focus on the woman's need that much. And after that podcast,
You're
we had
very in
with the-
tuned.
No,
So-
no. But after the podcast we had with the woman, where Liz when Liz said, "I gotta take care of mine too," that was just like
Yeah.
that was some
Yes.
Wonder Woman, Superwoman type.
Because for me, it's like if the guy doesn't do these things, it's more about. I don't need him to do like reciprocate. It's not even that. I can still get turned on. It's the fact that if you're not going to reciprocate, it says something about who you are. You know what I mean? It's more than just them reciprocating or not. Because I can live without that.
Yeah.
But if you don't do it at all, it's actually indicating to me that you're not like a considerate person
Yeah.
to want to give back.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No.
To want to serve.
No. Say
Yeah,
that.
that
No,
being
say
You know
that.
what I mean? Like it
to
says
the-
something
But
about.
you know what?
Does it
And-
matter to you if
and
your
let-
lady
let-
gets off?
You know, let me take advantage of this and drop this jewel as you said that. The inability for him not wanting to serve. Let me drop this
Yeah.
jewel right now on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio. If you want to be the biggest leader or the more significant leader, you have to serve.
Yeah.
When you master serving, that's why I salute anybody who's in the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
Our leaders
I
are in
always
that
say.
industry. I'm serious because
Yeah.
you know how to serve. You know how to cater.
Customer
to,
service.
Yeah,
Deal with
you-
other people.
Yeah, it's fascinating. But if you break that down to the dynamic of your loved one or somebody who you care for, and you really do that,
Yeah.
you're gonna win. And
Yeah.
I love hearing that perspective because then we all take our different journeys, but we kind of end up at the same
Yeah.
Yeah.
point, you know. And
Because on a basic human level, we all want the same thing.
yeah, which
Many
is that.
walks of life, but we're all just
Yeah.
want to be happy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
And, you know,
true.
Yeah.
And what's so
They're
funny?
family.
So funny. You know what? Based
So-
on let me say this real quick because I'm feeling this. Based on your energy, I think the growth from your journey through the divorce, through everything, is getting ready to launch you into a different level.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
I was gonna, I
That's exciting.
feel excited just kind of knowing what journey she's
So-
taking.
yeah, seriously,
Like
yeah.
I'm so inspired, but not only am I inspired, but I'm also feeling that sort of joy from your excitement,
Thank
knowing
you.
what you're about to experience. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm so
Yeah.
Yeah.
happy.
Can we toast to that real quick on Squirrel
Yes.
Rosenberg Radio as we get ready to take our final break here? Big shout out to Jen for
Thanks,
coming through and
guys.
sharing. We're going to close really quickly. Squirrel Rosenberg Radio, Squirrel Rosenberg TV. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. 1. Welcome to the Squirrel Rosenberg Radio Show as we get ready to wrap up the final episode of the Powwow with Jennifer DeCunto.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yo! Thank you for the assistance.
You did it.
Yeah, but I was just marinating because I'm like, no, I'm gonna have that name
DeCunto.
tattooed on my brain. Not only because of your story and how you've been so true to the Rosenberg movement, but I really appreciate everything you've shared with us tonight. And what I love is
My
the fact
pleasure.
that in 2 years, let me rephrase that, in 6 months when we follow up with her as our first international correspondent from
What?
South
South
Africa. We're gonna have you just
Skype,
reporting.
that'd be
Yeah, that's big. Come
would
back
be
in.
amazing.
Yeah, just getting Squirrel Rosenberg Radio and Squirrel Rosenberg TV out there on the map
FaceTiming.
internationally.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's big. I want to give a let's just clap to that. Let's put that energy out there. Energy out there. So, Jen, I mean, we spoke about, and my wife Ellie just mentioned that we really didn't get a chance to dive into the sexting seriously as much. So, let's just do that a little bit as I pose this question. And culturally, and I know that plays an aspect or some role in females, and I'm going to be very short on this, then I'm going to move on to something else. But I know that plays a very important role in females' perspective,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
what's your view on the woman's independence in today's society when it comes to sexual
Yeah, I mean,
ownership?
I was raised in a very conservative, sex was bad. I mean, I'm one of 4 girls. Like, so for my parents, like,
what was your
their
dad?
fear was like,
what was your dad's
gonna get
perspective?
pregnant.
oh my
like?
God, like their fear was basically projected onto us, and it was like just evil, the devil. Like, it was, sex was bad. So, so that's why as an adult though, now I really like feel strongly about sex being, beautiful, like it's not bad or dirty or anything like that. Like, it's part of the reason why I guess I was, I was married with someone where the sex life wasn't good, and I thought that would be okay because I was raised.
Whoa! Slow up! You're trying to sneak that by me right there, and I'm not gonna let you do that. I'm not gonna let you do that right there. Not on Squirrel Rosenberg Radio, because there's some gems about to be dropped right now.
Right.
Let me ask you this: so, in your initial marriage initially, what attracted you to him?
Just, everything you're raised to think that's important, like great person, good heart, good family, good job. Sex life was not there.
Initially, wasn't there?
Yeah, even initially, like, but it's like all your girlfriends and people give you advice, like, you're not going to find everything. You compromise on something, and that's something you can work on, and I really thought I could. I really did. I thought I'm very open, like, about sex. Like, it's fine. I'm not, like, I thought I could work on it. And in the end, I realized that, what I realized once we got married was that he wasn't wrong and I wasn't wrong. It's like everyone's different, like their capacity to be deep and intimate with somebody and have that part of the relationship. Like, everyone's different, and we were just very different.
Wow.
And so I just felt like, I didn't want, because I still think he's like a wonderful person. Like, that was what made it sad to end it, because it was like he was a good person.
And you're lacking that in that connection.
I craved something deeper, and he was who he was. So, it's like, that's what you learn out of life. I don't regret the marriage because I didn't even realize about myself that, like, I required something deep in life. Even friendships, like not just romantic relationships, I require to have a deep connection with the people I encounter in life, or that I keep around. And that was a lesson I learned in that marriage, so I don't regret it at all. I didn't know that about myself.
That's big.
You know what's interesting? I took I participated in a survey, and part of the survey, it wasn't really a survey, it was more of a scientific research. And so one of the conduits or people who were coordinating the research was a professor at NYU, and she said, it was about sort of, so when you were saying that you guys didn't connect, so there's different connections, right? So you and he had sort of a great relationship,
right?
But what you saw as a sexual relationship was different than what he saw as a sexual relationship, right? So for him, intimacy meant one thing, but for you, intimacy meant another.
Exactly.
Thing. And so that connection sort of was not there.
Right.
Does that mean, so when you create a bond, like husband and wife, he and I have been together for 16 years, or since I was 16. So
easy.
Well, so I think
allegedly.
So I mean, I lied about my age, and when I turned 17, I had to reveal my religion.
Allegedly.
But it worked. So it worked because I think so. There's with intimacy and relationships. So there's multi layers. I don't want to say there's two. There's multi layers, right? So there's people who are very religious, people who are very sexual, people who are very social, people who are. So there's like these layers that you have to kind of come to terms with. And I think in our 40s, and I can say that because you're older than me. So once I reach my 40s,
I'll wear that. I'm confident. I'll wear that.
But I think you become aware of all those different layers, and you become comfortable with who you are.
Yeah, there's less insecurity. You're comfortable in your own skin.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's called the fuck you 40s.
So
You
It's
get
called the
it.
fuck
That
you
there's
40s.
imperfections, but you still feel sexy.
That's what we call
But-
it.
Yeah.
Wait,
exactly.
no, there's
No,
more than
no.
that, because I don't think I've ever not felt. I mean, I could have been at my like highest weight, because I think you and I have had the conversation. I have Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease. Not only is it an autoimmune disease, but it's also a thyroid condition, which fucks with your like chemistry and metabolism.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't think I've ever not felt that he was attracted to me. But I think that there's different layers, right? So there's.
So, but you know, what's funny. Let me
let
just
me-
no. I gotta cut you. I gotta cut you there, because when you say not being attracted to me, because society puts these different perception on what's attractive.
Totally.
So-
you know, but I can't afford you to get, because that's gonna take us into another segment. and
No,
gotta-
I wasn't going to go into that. I think I understand that, but society versus like your own personal sort of connection,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
so you can have like those societal sort of influences, but then like personal connection,
Right.
You and I. Like when I come home and I close that door, that's my sanctuary, and then there's this connection between you and I, you and my children, you and my just personal sanctuary.
Yeah,
There is a complete difference, right? And so I call it my world. So when I speak with people and I text and I talk to people and I said, how are things in your world? I'm literally saying, how are things in your
Right.
world? So you and I have our world,
Right.
and you and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
are you, me, Naomi, Nicole, and just everything we have going on in our life and how we connect in that 44 Orchard Street, like
Right.
our
Yeah,
space,
yeah,
like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
our world. So when I, coming back to my thought, intimacy and feeling sexy and just sort of that whole realm, when you have that conversation, there is a difference, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know, because I haven't been in the dating world and I just haven't experienced that, but I feel like that personal space and that personal intimacy is personal, and it's in that little world. So if I was to date and I form a connection with someone and I say, this is what my likes are and this is what, you know, I want to explore and what I want to experience, it has to be this sort of trust and relationship where I feel like they understand why I
Agreed,
need that.
agreed,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only why I need that, but also just sort of that comfort and
Right, there's
security
just
I
this-
would feel in sharing
You
that
know, you see
sort
each
of
other.
experience.
Which is why
Yeah.
we were saying you
Yeah.
wanted to find, along with the physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be in
Connection.
a spiritual
Yeah.
connection in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
in a
yeah,
way.
yeah, true,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's no regrets.
Yeah, no, I know. I salute you
learn
for
about yourself.
I salute you for even
You learn.
being so vulnerable with sharing that, because at the end of the day, when people listen to this or watch this on our YouTube channel, they're able to see that, listen, what she's experienced isn't unique to her.
Right.
I can relate to that, and what we
Right.
want to do is just expound on that. But I think the superhuman connection to your story is under those
Superhuman.
yeah, no. Stay focused. Stay focused. Stay focused. The superhuman thing to your connection is, under those circumstances, you're still serving, and that's what's fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, in my research about South Africa in particular, like we all know, like what the struggles are in that country and have been, and I don't know. I guess I know I'm not going to go change the world. I know that. It's just if I can like be one image of someone who really has true love or genuine care for these children, and to show them that whether they stay in their village or go abroad, like there is a world out there and they can make a difference even if they stay where they are.
big.
But just empowerment, I guess that's really what my goal is. Like, you know, how can you make any difference in less than 2 years? 2 years is a long time, but like to be able to make any difference at all, how can you do it in less time? So I guess my goal is just to, you know, leave a memory of someone who wants, like, tried to empower them.
So let me ask you this: as we have 2 minutes to close,
Yeah.
and I wanna get ready to do this on a significant level. As the next time we speak to you will be 6 months from now, when you're in South Africa,
Yeah.
knee deep in that red
Yeah.
dirt, doing it.
in fetching my own water.
Let me.
And no toilets. That's why Will.
So let me say this. Let me say
video.
this. Oh my God.
I listened to that and I'm just like, oh my God.
We got
like
2
that
minutes, guys. Come on, guys.
It's crazy.
Yo,
I want to
yo,
join
I got
you.
camera Nazi over there. I got the sound Nazi
Can I
over
be
there.
your assistant,
holding guns on
please?
my head. Let me
doing it.
Let me say this. Let me say this.
Yeah.
So, what are you?
Politics.
What are you most interested in accomplishing once you touch down in South Africa?
Children. I mean, just empowering them, making them feel like, you know, especially in South Africa, I hate to bring race into it, just like being an image of a white person that like cares about them and wants them to do to their fullest potential. I mean, our apartheid didn't end that long ago. It's even just the HIV/AIDS epidemic, like empowering these kids to like gain some knowledge so that doesn't continue. Just that's gonna be my goal, like to empower the children that I'm interacting with.
Can we live the green bottle to that, please? Empowering the children.
Yeah.
No, that was big. I wet the palate.
Giving them true love.
Yeah,
like
I wet the palate,
unconditional.
and I salute you for
Yeah.
doing that. Putting yourself outside of your comfort zone for the kids.
Yeah.
And being, what's so funny? You said you didn't want to bring race up, but race is significant.
Yeah, especially certain.
Yeah.
Like I said, like South Africa, listening to Nelson Mandela autobiography right now, just that impact it's had, it's still so recent. It affects me. Like I want to, be an image of someone who genuinely and unconditionally wants these kids to succeed.
Listen, this is the longest Jamaican 2 minutes out there. I want to give a big shout out to Jennifer, the Kunto, for coming through, dropping all that major classic stuff. I really love and appreciate you for doing what you're doing. You're going to be our correspondent in South Africa, reporting on getting this movement. Squirrel Rosenberg Radio, Squirrel Rosenberg TV. We did a classic movement tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. One.
Broke, there's money to be made. I'm on the road to the riches, you in another lane. I'm all alone at the bar.